Hey everyone, today we're going to dive into something really powerful. It's a devotional by Kerry-Ann Barrett that explores what happens when we take those deep, unfulfilled desires, the ones that really ache, and we choose to just pour our hearts out in prayer. It's a game changer. Let's get into it. Kerry-Ann Barrett starts her study with something I think we can all relate to. We all have that one thing, right? That deep down desire that just seems to always be out of reach. It's that one spot in your life where you just know you can't do it on your own. You absolutely need God to step in. And that feeling, that ache, well, that brings us right into our first section, which is all about that unspoken aching desire. So let's just pause for a second here. What is that for you? What's that one deep desire you just can't seem to fill on your own? It's okay to name it, even just to yourself. That's really the first step. And here's where Kerry-Ann Barrett points out something so crucial. She says the pain isn't just about what's missing. Often there's this other voice, right? The enemy, using that empty space to taunt you, to provoke you, trying to get you to fret and worry. And as she puts it, that kind of worry, well, it's really just a form of unfaithfulness. So to really see what this looks like in action, we're going to turn to a powerful story from the Bible. Let's explore Hannah's story of grief. Okay, so let's get into Hannah's situation. It was tough. I mean, really tough. Her absolute deepest desire was to have a child, but she was barren. And as if that wasn't painful enough, she was constantly tormented by her husband's other wife, her rival. This really shows the two completely opposite forces in her life. So on one hand, you've got her husband, Elkanah. He truly loved her. He gave her the worthy portion to show it. But then on the other hand, you have Peninnah, who relentlessly provoked her, year after year, just to make her fret. And her husband, Elkanah, he says this to her, "Am not I better to thee than 10 sons?" You can just feel the heartbreak in that question, can't you? He's trying his best to comfort her. And his love was a real blessing for sure. But it just wasn't the blessing her heart was breaking for. So all of this, it brings Hannah to her absolute breaking point. And what she does next is the turning point of the whole story, which brings us to our third section, the choice to pray. And this is where everything changes. Kerry-Ann Barrett really zeroes in on this. Hannah could have become bitter. She could have lashed out. She could have just given up. But she didn't. Instead, she took all that pain, all that bitterness of soul, and she just poured it all out to the only one who could actually do something about it. It was a huge act of faith. And listen to her prayer, her vow. It is just so raw and honest. Think about that. She's not just asking for a son. She's promising to give him right back to the Lord for his whole life. This wasn't some kind of deal-making with God. This was total, complete surrender. And this leads to a really tough question that Kerry-Ann Barrett asks us. Are we willing to do that? Are you comfortable giving back to God the very thing you desire most? Wow, that question really makes you think about why you're asking, doesn't it? But wait, Hannah's story isn't over. Her test wasn't done yet. Right after this incredibly vulnerable prayer, she faced a whole new challenge. This brings us to a test of humility. I mean, can you even imagine this? You're at your absolute lowest point, you're pouring your soul out to God, and the priest, the one person who should understand, sees your lips moving and accuses you of being drunk. Talk about adding insult to injury. But Hannah's response? It's just incredible. She had every reason to get angry, to defend herself, to just snap. But look what she does. She doesn't get angry. She doesn't snap. She just gracefully, humbly corrects him, explaining she's a woman with a sorrowful spirit who has poured out her soul before the Lord. And her humility, it changed everything. It completely turned the situation around. Eli's heart softened, and he blessed her. And get this, the Bible says after that, she went on her way, she ate something, and her face wasn't sad anymore. Her faith was restored before she ever got her answer. That's powerful. Okay, so what can we take away from all this? How do we apply Hannah's story to our own lives? Let's bring it all together as we talk about recommitting your faith. This chart lays it out perfectly. These are the big takeaways from Kerry-Ann Barrett's analysis. First, confront that negativity. Ask God to silence those taunts. Second, choose faith instead of despair. Pour it all out. Third, practice real surrender. And finally, embrace humility, especially when you're misunderstood or judged. So what do we do now? Kerry-Ann Barrett gives us a super practical 3-step plan. Step 1, identify it. What's that thing that's just draining you? Step 2, pour it out. Take it straight to the Lord. And step 3, repeat. And this last one is so important. It's not a one-and-done thing. Remember, Hannah did this year by year. Persistence is everything.
And we're going to close with this incredible promise that Kerry-Ann Barrett leaves us with. It's a promise of overwhelming abundance. When we're willing to give it all to God, just like Hannah did, our pain, our desires, even the blessings themselves, He doesn't just give us what we asked for. He gives back in a way that is pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So the final question for all of us is, are we willing to pour it all out first?